It could happen over like messaging, like you just message them threats, or it could totally happen on Twitter where everything is totally public. And that, I think that could be so much worse, because then everyone knows that not only are you getting a victim, and now everyone knows you're a victim, and it makes you so much more vulnerable.
What these comments do is they tell the kids who they are. Then the teens start believing that that's who they are, right? Like the things that other teens are saying about them or to them, that's how their identity is chosen.
And then you see people like posting stuff on Facebook, and you see people like actually committing suicide because of cyberbullying.
As we just saw, so many high school students today are experiencing cyberbullying. In fact, according to the nonprofit organization Do Something, more than 1 out of 10 students today drop out of school because of repeated bullying.
Joining us now in the studio is Jerry Johnston. I mean, let me ask you the question everybody probably has, since you're the expert. What is cyberbullying?
It's Amanda Todd, the 3rd most Googled name in a recent year, who posted a video, 14 million views. She sexted, she sent it to a friend, they Facebooked it, a weirdo stalked her, and she killed herself. It's the kid who feels like he's checked out. And you profile Adam Lanza and Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold. These are kids who feel like they're rejects. These are kids who have gone through cyberbullying. And the notable thing is, mom and dad are last to know.
And I find that so hard to believe, just because I remember when I was a child, the one thing my mom would tell me is, if you get into a fight and you don't hit back, I'm going to hit you. And it was one of those things where that's not what we want to send, but you know, we fought, we duked it out, and then it was over, and now it's
but you can't get back when it's anonymous, and
that's the point. Is like this was. I mean, as bad as fighting is, it's a lot healthier than the kind of nasty anonymous things that are going on online.
It's a girl who's right near our center where she got pregnant, and so her friends, quote unquote, did a Facebook site on her 9 months of carrying a baby, and gave her the name Slut. She stayed in school, endured it. And but every single day, how does that affect you emotionally?
I just got to say, my parents would. I wonder, where are the parents? It's unbelievable. As a father of a high school student, I want to know where in the world are the parents. Don't answer that, because we'll talk about that.
We'll ask them the password of the Facebook.
Well,
one of the consequences of cyberbullying is a low self-esteem. Let's take a look at how one teenage girl experienced this firsthand.
The models or the stars in magazines or on TV, they're always made to be super perfect. But then when you see girls with perfect stomachs, perfect legs, perfect hair, perfect faces, then you're like, oh, maybe it's just me. Like, maybe there's just something wrong with me.
Lauren's insecurities became the targets of insults, in person and online.
It just began to come out that, through cyberbullying and just some challenges that she was facing, it was having a huge impact on her.
I had these girls who would constantly be posting on each other's Facebook, making statuses, and it would be like calling me names, saying that I was ugly and that I was fat. I didn't understand that people could actually be that mean. And so I was like, wow, like these things have to be true, because nobody's gonna just hurt you on purpose.
I have to say, this video just shakes me, because I'm listening to the young lady, and the words that she kept reiterating was perfect, perfect, perfect. And we live in such a society where things or people, appear to be perfect, especially with Photoshop and...
Well, we live in an airbrushed world.
Airbrushed world,
And the
yes.
fact of the matter is, the porn is airbrushed. These kids today think that their whole composite is what you see on the outside. We know the exact opposite. It's what's on the inside. And cyberbullying is a great way to hem a kid in, crowd him to the corner, get him out of the room.
I mean, it's interesting, because I have to tell you that the idea that all this is happening on these little screens, there's something fundamentally unhealthy about spending your time looking at a screen, whatever you're looking at, even if it's a good thing. There's something fundamentally unhealthy. Looking a person in the eye, having to learn social skills. To me, cyberbullying is an outgrowth of this kind of, it's almost like facing mirrors, It's just absolutely internal and ultimately really sick.
And Eric, like everything in the cyber world, it's unmonitored, it's unregulated, And you can't even begin to calculate the consequences of destruction with young people.
And if you can talk about that for our viewers, for a child right now, or a teenager who's in high school who's feeling all of this pressure, how can the parents get involved? How can they monitor? You know, because some teenagers are like, oh, I don't want you in my life.
Yeah, what do you say if your kid says, you can't look at my stuff?
Absolutely.
I know what I'd say as a parent.
Well, it's what the coach told me earlier this week. We take the computer out of the room at 9 p.m. You know, mom and dad, you keep that cell phone, you
hear
keep
that,
that
parents?
computer.
Take
you hear
the
that?
computer out, which I think is
The
great.
expert,
Absolutely.
The expert Jerry just said you can do that, so you have permission. You heard an expert tell you.
Well, you know,
can
I
do,
want
but parents need to be encouraged. Yes. Say no, say, sorry, tough luck. Because I love you, you're done. Close the computer,
That's right.
It's out.
And I told the dad last night who came to see me at dinner, hey, your kid, you might want him to like you, but how about being a leader? He might like you, he might not.
Yeah.
But someday he'll come
Well,
back.
because
like,
God calls you
My
to be a
son
parent
said,
first.
Thanks
and,
for being a
maybe you
leader,
become
Dad.
friends. Anyway, in some cases, victims of cyberbullying, unfortunately, start believing all of the hurtful things that are said about them online. As a result, they can take it out on themselves in incredibly destructive ways. Let's take a look at how some teens are responding to the cyberbullying phenomenon.
1 in 5 girls and 1 in 7 guys has been involved in some form of self-injurious behavior for the purpose of managing or controlling their emotions somehow. That is off the chart.
When you cut yourself or burn yourself, that's all you're thinking about. Just like when you break your leg, you're not thinking about a test you have tomorrow, you're thinking about the broken bone in your body. I found that cutting became really addictive, and it wasn't like, it was almost like I'd be at school and I was like, anything could happen or anything couldn't happen. I'd go home and I would almost look forward to it as if it was like having a friend come over or something.
It provides the relief or the release from pressure, the sense of calm, but only for the moment. And then it plunges a person into even deeper despair. Suicide, on the other hand, is actually a response to the belief that I have run out of all options.
I think I'm not alone in saying that is very disturbing, what we just saw.
The highest
even
risk
imagine.
age group in America is 15 to 24. It's not 50 to 70. And as a parent, you got to talk to your son or daughter. You've got to really get to know them. And most parents spend about 5 minutes a week talking to their son.
Now,
or daughter.
why is it, okay, because obviously I keep saying I'm a parent, why is it that parents are not talking to their kids?
They're too
do you-
busy. They're
too
trying
busy.
to pay the bills. They're trying to give their kids everything. I had a dad last night who told me that at the table. I said, look, you're so smart. This major company uses you. You know how to fix this. Redesign your life. Put your kid first.
And I have to say, back in the days, we had so many shows that were about family.
Sure.
So if your mom was working, you were still able to watch The Cosby Show and learn morals and values about family, and you would see a father and a mother together.
And that day's
that foundation is completely.
And remember, kids communicate non-verbally. When I'm cutting, when I isolate myself, when I'm given to extremes, the formerly extroverted kid who becomes introverted, silent, withdrawn, vice versa, the introverted kid who becomes gregarious, outgoing, I'm sending you a signal as a teen to a parent saying,
So what
look,
can
I'm hurting.
parents who may think that their child is doing this, what can they do? What signs should they look for?
Regulate the cyber opportunity. I mean, regulate it.
You mean shut it down?
Not necessarily shut it down.
Periodically.
Be a steward of it,
Yes.
okay?
So what,
And,
like taking the computer out,
have access
taking
to
their
their
phones at
have
a certain
access
time?
to their password. Have access to monitor. Actually read it every day.
I just want to dare the parents who are listening. I dare you to do this because this is important. It's not easy, but if you do it, I'll do it. I'm not kidding.
I know a lot of parents whose son or daughter would be alive today had they done it.
Okay.
They've told
need to-
me, he's gone, I woke up too late.